Well, to give us an update on what has happened ever since then and the latest developments in River State ahead of these elections, our man Charles Iruka is there this morning. Morning, Charles, and yes, you've been talking to several persons who are in charge of different aspects of these elections, which is holding tomorrow. What can you tell us?
Oh, good morning, Chamberlain. At this moment, I can tell you that it is raining very, very heavily here in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. But, well, that's what is happening right at this moment. In any case, from the report we just watched, the Independent National Electoral Commission has been talking tough as regards their intention to conduct the election transparently and to ensure that all the political actors play according to the rules of the game. Indeed, yesterday the INEC took delivery of the sensitive materials and dispatched them to the various local governments. All the local governments in River State, with the exception of 4, because according to what he told us, those 4 local governments had issues with the sensitive materials, and so they have to sort them out to ensure that there'll be no foul play or no suspicion of foul play by the time they get dispatched. So today, they will be distributed according to the polling unit, ready for the exercise tomorrow. Now, the security angle of it is that, well, the people of River State are in what I call a sense of tense anticipation. As you might have known by now, excuse me, yesterday 2 soldiers were killed in an ambush when they were out on patrol. And for some, it might portend something a little bit more sinister, but the military and security authorities have given every assurance that in spite of that little security breach, well, they are battle ready to ensure that there is no breakdown of law and order when the elections kick off properly. Yesterday, in the morning particularly, we had the helicopters hovering around. I think it has become a common characteristic of the morning in Port Harcourt here, when in the morning we see various helicopters hovering around the place. We can't say exactly what that is all about, but then we believe that indeed it is part of the security apparatus. And of course, you also have convoy of military and police and civil defense personnel with their sirens patrolling the streets or probably deploying to their places of assignment to provide security. That's, in a nutshell, is what the situation is like in River State at the moment, Chamberlain.
All right, indeed, Charles. So we'll keep in touch with you as we just get more updates when we have to get across you. Thank you very much. And stay safe, Charles.
We will. Thank you.
All right, let's get back to the studio now. We're joined in the studio here by Mr. Adekunle Ojo, who is the former 2nd Vice President of the Nigerian Bar Association. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
Well, there's certainly legal perspectives on this matter, but in the meantime, the preparations to build up to these elections, we've seen so much, heard so much, talked about so much now, but he says the people are looking forward to these elections. From your impression, what do you think of this?
Well, I think it's really unfortunate that we find ourselves where we are today, because even before 2015 elections, we had some of this crisis in that very particular part of the country, and my expectation is that by now we should be, the necessary authorities ought to have worked on some of this. I mean, yes, we aren't expecting that there will be rerun, but we are facing such a challenge now. And by now, I felt that certain things ought to have been done that will put some of these things into check. Someone said not quite long ago that, look, we are all fed up with this violence. And you imagine that the people that are dying, these are people that ordinarily should build the future of this country. They are the younger ones, and unfortunately, even the so-called politicians, the dramatists in all of this, they don't even involve in all this crisis. Their children are not involved in it and all whatnot. And this is where we come to it. Do we really have roles to play? Are we doing what we are supposed to do? Yeah. The politicians, are they doing what they're supposed to do? INEC, are they done what they are supposed to do? These are the necessary questions, but it's quite alarming. It's quite scary, and more so if you imagine some people died a few weeks back, and the governor said it was cultist attack and all whatnot, but then the other side came up to say, look, these are our men that were killed and all whatnot.
Now,
when are we going to?
This morning, one of the papers we looked at, it says that court bars army from Rivers Pole. And then one wonders, in the midst of all of this, because they are already there, they've said, look, we're going to provide security to ensure that things don't go bad. What do we make of this?
Well, I think, is it the pronouncement of the court between you and I? It's not even new. Because in given ordinary situation, if things were to work the way it should, you don't need the involvement of the army in election matters. They don't have to be involved. But then the peculiarity of this case is because basically the judge is not in the field. It's not in the trenches. He doesn't know what is going on there. And if you imagine that people were on mere patrol and an army, a major and another soldier, they were killed in the process. And if you look at the build-up to this election, fear for fear, I'm an apostle of, look, army should not be involved in elections. But then if there is violence, there is no way you can stop the army from being involved.
Remember, 2015, this argument was so rife.
Yes, and some of us supported the argument. Yes,
and several people disagreed, said no, they should be there. Others said no, they shouldn't. They cited different constitutions and what should exactly happen. But this one now says, it says they restrain the military from deploying its troops to conduct, monitor, and supervise elections.
They are not supposed to conduct. They are not supposed to monitor.
The previous argument was they were supposed to just stay away, just be in River State, but don't be in the thick of things.
No. If you look at the ruling of the court itself, I mean, I think the judge selected a what or his words and perfectly too. They are not supposed to conduct. They are not supposed to monitor. They are not supposed to be. I mean, apparently he has taken them out of the realm of election itself.
So what can they do?
No. Is it like we said? If like certain areas are prone to violence, they are prone to crisis, and it's quite clear with what has happened in the past few days that look, without some measure of security applied, then we might as well not have a violent-free election in Rivers State. And now their involvement, I want to believe that the involvement is ordinarily, that is not their primary role. Securing people securing the territorial integrity of the country is their primary role. But then for them to be called out, then there must be more than that. If there is a need, if the police for whatever reason are not on top of the situation, or their involvement is not achieving the expected result, then there is no. You can even bring out the Navy. You can even bring out whatever you look at. So if we have this in place, if it is just to secure, if it is just to maintain that people are allowed to go about their business without any molestation, without any harassment, so be it. But then their involvement, you can't carry ballot boxes for them. You can't conduct. You can't. Their level is to ensure that there is. If it is at that level, then given what has happened, what has happened in the past few days in Rivers State, if you look at their gladiators, somebody say I'm going to do, and if you look at it very well, without missing word, how did we get to this position? Somebody feel that, look, if those that are coming in are not my men, then definitely my seat is as unsecured as ever. And the other side, I say, look, I have an ego. We want to do this. You see, it's about ego, and it's unfortunate that politicians over the years have learned nothing. And unfortunately, our people too, it will appear that we have learned nothing, because at the end of the day, when it comes to power, when it comes to money, this same set of people, they agree without wasting time. And unfortunately, look at able-bodied Nigerians who have allowed themselves to be used as tools to kill others. We are behaving like unthinking animals. You just look at another human being and you chop off his head for what? Because an election is going to take place. At the end of the day, this man, come to him tomorrow, he does not even know you. That's one of the things that we tell our colleagues. If you are allowed to be used as a conduit pipe, if you are allowed to be used to bribe judges, or judges that are used to the influence of politicians, at the end of the day, when the chips are down, they will not be there to protect you.
You know, if you look at it, that's the one thing that cuts across. You use the word gladiator,
yeah.
And what comes to mind is words. You know, words that comes out of people. Yeah. When they go out to campaign,
terrible ones,
and how this has turned so many peaceful, what would have become peaceful elections or processes into violent ones. how have we been able to manage that? Because if you look at it, look at what is even happening in America, the rally that Donald Trump should have, it would have become a peaceful rally, but it turned violent because of words. Such words lead to horrible actions. Have we been able to guard what comes out of us as leaders?
Well, we have not been able to do that, and likely it's reflected everywhere that we go to. I personally, I would rather vote for people based on what I know about them rather than listening to them, because people become nauseating, people become quite irritating when they mount the podium. They say things that are untoward because your wife is back home, your children are back home or abroad. You are not using them to this, and you say we have to fight them with all that we have. What are the things that you have that you want to fight them with? They are coming from so place, we must resist them. How are you resisting them? If it is just to go and vote, you use inflammatory words at times that has turned us to where we are now. And it's unfortunate that it's spreading, and I put that blame at the doorstep of who? The doorstep of INEC itself. You ought to, because there should be forum for you to talk with the politicians. There should be forum. If for whatever reason, you must even be able to monitor the campaigns. So at the end of the day, people should be brought to book. And sometimes ago, we talked about election offenses tribunals and all whatnot. I'm not really too particular about election offenses tribunals, but I'm particular about electoral offenses. I'm more particular about it. If a man mounts the podium and he says things that he ought not to say, and at the end of the day, he succeeds in inciting innocent Nigerians into what they shouldn't do, is it not part of the crime if a crime is committed at the end of the day? So I think these are things that we should look at. But then if you look at publicity wise, and the relationship between INEC and this political party, it's one person is saying no. Sometimes ago, one of the APC said no, INEC is in the kitty, or is in the purse, or is in the pocket of PDP. Sometimes ago too, the PDP said the same thing. It means that you must come out openly, let the whole world know that you are unbiased in this, and say it to them openly. Let them know that look, what you said is this. You have every right to monitor the election. You have every right to control even the campaigns. If it's becoming messy, you have every right to tell them, look, you have done what you shouldn't do. Bring such people to book, and let the whole world know that somebody somewhere said something and he shouldn't have said so. And we are the role of the NGO too. Are we playing the NGO, the non-governmental organization? Are they doing enough?